So we're going to try this old man kind of test to see if I can make myself look a little older, maybe like a different race, if that's even possible. So here we go. Hi, welcome to a new episode of Tom's Geeky Garage. Today we are in the backyard, which is a little bit of a different setting than normal, because today we're going to be doing a little visual effect thing, and this is just the best place for me to shoot this. So this is where we're going to do it, whatever. So recently over the weekend I did this like little visual effects test of doing digital makeup on my face. And some of the friends and stuff online were asking how I did it, so I decided to put this little tutorial together on how we actually made that effect happen. We basically used After Effects and a free software called EB Synth to create this effect. It's very similar to doing like a deep fake, except for you're not using AI learning and stuff like that, and it's a lot quicker. But the effect, I think the effect's pretty good. It's probably not as good as doing a deep fake, but if you don't know how to do deep fake, but you know how to use After Effects, this is kind of the video for you. So let's get started on doing this. Before we do, make sure you like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and you want us to do more of this kind of visual effects stuff in the future. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to shoot the footage. So in this scenario, let's just assume that you're doing a gag or something for YouTube, or you're shooting a little student film and you need 2 people, but you only have yourself. You don't have any crew or any friends. Sad. Anyways, you don't have any friends to help you out, so you're doing it by yourself, and you need to create a secondary person. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a scenario sitting here where I'm discussing something, talking to myself, and we're going to try to replace one of me with someone else. Okay, so let's get started. So let's run through this. Okay, so the first me will sit on this side of the frame talking to someone on this side. So the first one will be me, the second one will be our guest. Okay, so here we go. Hi, welcome to the show. Today we have our guest Frank with us. Hi Frank, say hi to the camera. Great, great. Alright, well let's get started. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to shoot over and we're going to be Frank. Take my hat off. I'm going to shoot over here on this side. We're going to be Frank now. Okay? Take my glasses off too. Oh, I can't see. Alright, here we go. Ready? Thank you. It's really great to be here. I'm really happy to be on the show. Okay, so let's just hope the timing of those 2 things work together once I cut it together, and then that I can do this effect properly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into After Effects. I'm going to take those 2 little bits of footage and try to merge them in the same time and space, and then we'll go to the next step on the computer. Let's go. Okay, so now we're in After Effects. We have our footage. I've went through and composited this stuff together. Hi, welcome to the show. Today we have our guest Frank with us. Hi Frank, say hi to the camera. Thank you. It's really great to be here. I'm really happy to be on the show. Great, great. Alright, well let's get started. Okay, so there it is. So the 2 fellas are talking to each other. Now the first step of this process is, now that we have this composited together, we have to export this as a image sequence. So it's going to take this video and break up each frame into its own individual image, and that's what we're going to put into EB Synth to basically make this face change. Okay, so alright, so we got this all rendered out, and you can see here that this folder has that video and it's all in a image sequence now. So now that we have that ready to go for EB Synth, where we can try to figure out what face we're going to put on me. Now, I had this old man face already downloaded for another test video I did, the one I mentioned from this weekend. Maybe I'll just use that. Where is that at? Let's see. Is this thing? There we go. He's like a really old, I don't know, Indian or Egyptian. I'm not sure what race he technically is, but it was for an old man, and we're going to use this face, I think. So we're just going to open up Photoshop and Photoshop this on. Alright, so the next step is, after you have your image sequence and stuff, you need to pick what photo you're going to manipulate. Now, so how EB-Sense works is you take one frame of your video, or however many frames you need to use to get it done. In this one, we're going to use one to see if it works. You take one frame and basically you modify this frame on how you want your outcome to look. And then what it's going to do, it's going to use that source frame to try to copy that look to all the other frames of the video, right? So you're not having to actually edit each photo. You're only editing one. So I've marked this one photo right here, 44454, as the one I'm going to edit. I've already went in and did the Photoshop work, but I'm going to kind of explain what I've done. So in Photoshop, I have taken the image of this old fella, cut his face out, and Photoshopped it over my face. Now, the trick here is, for this technique to kind of work, is you want to make sure that certain key spots are lined up. So on this one, you can see the eyes are lined up, and the lips are lined up. The nose doesn't necessarily have to be, and the ear I like to line up, and the jawline, things like that, but those don't have to be perfect, right? So I didn't do the greatest job here in Photoshop, but basically, if you, this is where you want to put in all the work. You know, the better you can get this frame to look realistic, the more chances your final outcome is going to look really good. I'm kind of rushing through this tutorial, so I just stopped it here. There's what came in, and then there's what I kind of blended into the image. So this is going to be the image that we use for our source. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this. You don't have to save it as anything special. You can just save it. I'm going to put it in its own folder called frame. The real trick here is making sure that the name of the image is the same as it was inside of your image sequence. So it's still called dude 214454. It's got to be named exactly the same, or EB-Sense won't know what frame you're referencing. So just keep the name the same and save it. Yeah, save. Okay, this don't matter, but there we go. Okay, so now that we have that frame saved, now we can actually go into the EB-Sense software and start doing what we need to do. So here's EB-Sense. So EB-Sense is a free software. This one's a beta. You can go to their website and download this for free and play with it. It's really simple to use. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do in here. They keep adding to it and making it a little bit more robust as far as like exporting this stuff straight to AE. If you don't already have an AE comp built, it will make you a custom comp with frame blending and everything together. It's kind of a one-click solution. But we already have an AE comp going, so I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so let's go back here and see what we can do. So first thing is you want to tell it where your video image sequence is. So this is the thing that we made at the very first. So we're going to just direct it to that location. So here it is, footage, old man. Here we go, this is the image sequence. So I'm just going to select the first frame in that sequence, which I guess technically is this one down here. Oh, this one. Okay, so we're going to open that guy. It knows, and now it's going to pull in every image in that folder. And then now our keyframes are basically your source frame. So this is the one that you edited. This is what you want all the frames to look like. So we put that frame in here. There we go. All right. So it is all set up, and it usually will, it's going to output this to a folder. Usually it is where your input video is. It'll make another folder, but you can tell it and select the special place you want this to go to. I'm okay with it just making the folder wherever. I can show you here. We'll keep this open so you can kind of see that it will make a new folder. It'll put the folder in here, I think, or I think it'll put it in here somewhere, but let's just see. After you tell it where the video is and you tell it where the keyframes are, then you just have to hit synth, right? Yeah, there it goes. See, it popped in a folder here. So it has made a new folder. This one called out. It'll usually be called out and then whatever the frame is. And this is where it's going to start outputting the folder. So you'll see it start populating this as it processes frames. So see, it's already kind of going. Let's see if we can get a good look at this. You see here? Slowly starting to populate those frames. So we're going to let this run and see how it does. Now, the only thing I'm worried about here is usually EBSynth, it needs information for it to work properly. And I'm worried because some of these shots in this video, I turn my head sideways, the kind of a profile shot when I'm looking at the other version of me. And EBSynth doesn't know what that perspective looks like of this dude because I only gave it this one angle. So it's going to try to fake it, but I don't know how well it's going to do. Normally, to get a really good sim, you would actually put in two source image. You tell it, here's what it looks like when he has his head turned, and here's what it looks like when he's looking straight forward. And then it would use those two reference images to kind of build this out. But with just the one source image, we're just going to see what it does. It's probably not going to be perfect, and sometimes you'll build this out and run it, and it will like not work out properly, and you'll have to go back and kind of rethink how you're going to give EBSynth proper information. But generally, it generally works pretty good. So we're going to let this continue to render, and then we'll come back and look at what it has made. Alright, so we let Photosynth do its thing, and I went ahead and brought in the layer from Photosynth. I did just mask around the face since this is the only place that we're replacing. So this is all original video except for this section here. Let's go ahead and look at what we ended up with straight out of Photosynth without doing much of anything else. Here is the piece of footage. Hi, welcome to the show. Today we have our guest Frank with us. Hi Frank, say hi to the camera. Thank you, it's really great to be here. I'm really happy to be on the show. Great. Alright, well let's get started. Alright, so you can see with that piece of footage that there is some noise kind of over here on Frank's face. As he talks, you can see that there's some movement, some odd movement on his cheekbone here. And that is because in the source footage, we were under the trees and there was like shadows and stuff changing on the surface of my face. And that was causing the simulation to kind of go wonky. As you can see there, that as the shadow moves across my chest, it also moves across my face, causing the effect to kind of look all distorted and wonky on his face. But if this would have been a studio setting with constant lighting and not shadows and stuff, this effect would have worked out pretty well. This was just kind of an unprofessional setup here, but it technically in better settings does a much better job. And I'll play this other clip that you've seen at the head of the video of one I did over the weekend. So we're going to try this old man kind of test to see if... yeah, you can see here that it looks a lot better than the one I just did. So you can do a pretty good job depending on how much time you want to put into doing the Photoshop work and the tracking. But for a quick little thing, this actually works better than you would assume it would, since the tool itself isn't made for this. Anyways, that's the show for today. If you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments. And we'll see you later.